Good day. There are 12 top headlines today. Here's the details.
First headline: U.S. to send 200 troops to Nigeria to train African nations' military. The United States is planning to deploy about 200 military personnel to Nigeria to train and advise the Nigerian armed forces in their fight against insurgent groups such as Boko Haram and the Islamic State West Africa province. The troops are expected to arrive in the coming weeks and will focus on training, technical guidance, intelligence sharing, and helping coordinate air-ground operations, but will not participate in direct combat or take operational control, with Nigeria's military retaining full command over security decisions. The move follows expanded security cooperation between Washington and Abuja, including recent U.S. airstrikes and reconnaissance activities, and comes amid ongoing pressure from the U.S. over Nigeria's handling of widespread violence.
Second headline: Cargo agents suspend strike as FAAN crashes tariff. Cargo agents at Murtala Muhammad International Airport, MMIA, Lagos, have suspended their strike after reaching a deal with the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN. The dispute began when FAAN proposed a hike in cargo handling charges, prompting agents to halt cargo clearing operations. After a stakeholders meeting at MMIA, both sides agreed on a revised cargo port charge of 15 naira per kilogram, down from FAAN's earlier proposed 20 naira per kilogram and up from the old 7 naira rate. With this compromise, cargo clearing resumed, and operations are returning to normal, as the agreement aims to balance industry concerns with airport revenue needs. Third headline: Senate makes U-turn and okays e-transmission of election results. Nigeria's Senate has reversed its earlier stance and approved electronic transmission of election results in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, amending Clause 63 to allow presiding officers at polling units to electronically upload results to the Independent National Electoral Commission's Results Viewing Portal, IREV, after completing and signing the required Form EC-8A. The change came after intense debate in a rowdy plenary and pressure from various stakeholders. However, the Senate included a safeguard. If electronic transmission fails due to network or technical issues, the manually completed Form EC-8A will serve as the primary means of result collation, allowing manual submission as a backup. Lawmakers also set up a committee to harmonize differences with the House of Representatives before it goes to the President for assent. Fourth headline: DSS witness identifies suspects behind Owo church attack in court. A Department of State Services DSS witness, an assistant commander with the Ondo State Security Network, Amotekun, told a federal high court in Abuja that he engaged one of the men accused in the June 5, 2022 attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State, and identified him in court. The prosecution witness said he and his team pursued fleeing assailants after the massacre, which left dozens of worshippers dead, and exchanged gunfire with them in a bush outside the church. During his testimony, he pointed to the second defendant, Al-Qasim Idris, as the man he saw during that encounter. This marks at least the second time a prosecution witness has linked a defendant to the attack in open court. The trial of the suspects, who face terrorism charges over the deadly assault, continues before the federal high court. Fifth headline: Tinubu's mediation in Rivers crisis will be final intervention, WIC.
Nyesom Wike, Nigeria's Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, said President Bola Tinubu's latest intervention in the ongoing political standoff in Rivers State between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the State House of Assembly is expected to be the final time the president steps in to mediate the dispute. Wike made the comment while speaking to journalists in Abuja during an inspection of infrastructure projects, describing Tinubu's role as that of a father bringing peace to the parties. He expressed confidence that all sides would now comply with the president's directives and that the long-running crisis would soon be brought to an end, marking a possible turning point in the tensions that have plagued the oil-producing state.
Sixth headline: Go and confront terrorists. Stop showing force on harmless citizens. Aisha Yasufu tells policemen during Occupy NAS protest. At the Occupy NAS protest against the Senate's rejection of mandatory electronic transmission of election results, Nigerian activist Aisha Yasufu challenged police officers deployed at the National Assembly entrance, urging them to stop using force on peaceful citizens and instead focus on confronting terrorists responsible for killing Nigerians across the country. Speaking directly to officers in combat gear, she criticized the security presence at the protest and referenced recent attacks on communities, arguing that police resources should be directed toward combating terrorism rather than intimidating unarmed protesters demanding electoral reforms. Seventh headline: Occupy NAS 2026. Amaechi claims APC blocking e-transmission out of fear. Former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amaechi joined protesters at the National Assembly in Abuja, opposing the Senate's handling of the Electronic Transmission of Results Clause in the Electoral Act amendment. Amaechi accused the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, of resisting mandatory e-transmission because the party is, quote, afraid of losing future elections if votes are transparently uploaded directly from polling units. He urged opposition parties, including the PDP and ADC, to unite in protest and reject what he described as an attempt by the APC to dominate the electoral process, saying the fear of open results transmission undermines confidence in Nigeria's democracy. Eighth headline: CAC accuses banks of enabling non-compliant companies. The Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, Hussaini Magaji, SAN, has accused several banks and financial institutions of weakening Nigeria's anti-corruption and compliance framework by allowing inactive and non-compliant companies to open accounts and transact business despite being flagged by the CAC as non-compliant under the Companies and Allied Matters Act. He made the remarks on Tuesday in Abuja during an Anti-Corruption Day event marking the Commission's 35th anniversary. Magaji said companies that failed to disclose key ownership information are classified as inactive and should not be permitted to transact, but some banks still permit them to operate, creating a gap in national compliance. He noted that the CAC has reported 248 fake company registrations to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for further action, and has handed over 3 CAC staff to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission, ICPC, over alleged misconduct, emphasizing the need for stronger enforcement and uniform compliance across institutions. Ninth headline: Heavy security as Nenadi Usman takes over Labour Party secretariat in Abuja. Senator Nenadi Usman formally assumed control of the Labour Party's national secretariat in Utako, Abuja, after a federal high court ruling recognized her as the interim national chairman of the party.
there was heavy security deployed at and around the secretariat, with armed police and security agents present early in the morning to prevent clashes between Usman's faction and the rival group loyal to former chairman Julius Abure. Access to the building was tightly controlled, with supporters, party members, and journalists screened before entry, and banners of the previous leadership replaced with those of Usman's interim team. The takeover follows a legal struggle over leadership of the party, and despite tensions, security forces were stationed to maintain peace as Usman's leadership took physical possession of the headquarters. 10th headline: NRS sets $40.7 trillion revenue target for 2026. The Nigeria Revenue Service, NRS, has set an ambitious $40.71 trillion revenue target for the 2026 fiscal year, representing about a 44% increase over the roughly $28.3 trillion it collected in 2025. This was disclosed at the NRS's leadership retreat in Abuja, where officials highlighted that the service's enhanced mandate, including the addition of oil, gas, and mineral royalty collections previously handled by other agencies, underpins the higher projection. The boost is also backed by expected growth in non-oil tax revenue, stronger compliance enforcement, automation of key processes, and expanded taxpayer registration and filing activity. Officials said the target reflects efforts to strengthen domestic revenue mobilization and reduce Nigeria's reliance on borrowing, stressing the need for continued reforms and improved taxpayer compliance to achieve the goal. 11th headline: Nigerian man shot dead in South Africa during anti-drug operation. A 45-year-old Nigerian man named Emeka Clement Uzor was shot dead on February 8, 2026, during an anti-drug operation in Windsor East, Randburg, Johannesburg, South Africa. The incident occurred while a security team linked to the filming of an anti-drug TV program was conducting the raid, and Action SA's Ekurhuleni mayoral candidate Xolani Khumalo was present at the scene, according to police and party statements. Gauteng police have opened a murder investigation into the shooting as community members protested and public order officers were deployed. The Nigerian community and associations in South Africa have strongly condemned the killing, calling for a transparent investigation and justice, and the Nigerian consulate in Johannesburg also denounced the fatal shooting as unacceptable while stressing the need to protect Nigerians abroad. 12th headline: Portable courts trouble again as Alafin's ex-wife, Queen Dami, takes legal action. Queen Dami, the former wife of the late Alafin of Oyo, has filed a legal petition against Nigerian singer Portable, accusing him of cyberbullying, blackmail, and making threats that endanger her safety after he publicly claimed they were still in a romantic relationship, a claim she has firmly denied. In statements and filings shared online, she insisted she and Portable are not in a relationship, described the spread of false and sexualized allegations about her as harmful and unacceptable, and said she has moved on with her life. Her petition warns Portable to stop making such assertions and seeks legal redress over the damaging narratives, underscoring the escalation of their public feud into a court dispute. And that brings us to the end of the news. If you found this update helpful, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for timely, accurate news and analysis. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update.